To work in a professional environment using a BIM platform, it's absolutely critical that the platform, the software have been set up and configured to function in the professional environment. It's very important to remember that no software out of the box is working as they should in a professional environment when you buy them. So you can buy the software, but then it have to be set up and configured so you can develop the information that you need to develop and the software functioning in a way that is suitable for the office standards and the output that you need for the project. And what needs to be set up and configured, particularly to get a starting point to work on a 3D collaboration project or a BIM project, is that you need to have a standardized naming convention in the software. So you are naming models and components correctly, and you output information with the correct naming convention. You need to have a geographical coordination set up, and you need to have a management and support process in place to be able to set up and manage and problem solve the project throughout the timeline of the project. You need to have CAD standards set up so you can populate and produce your drawings so they look like professional drawings. And you need to have the software configuration set up so the software functioning as it should on the network, so that the project teams can find the information they need to find for the project that is specific for the project, and they can find the resources that is related to the project or that are standardized for the practice. So when the design team is developing the 3D model, they're using correct information and correct components to do so. And why is it so important to do this? If you don't have a naming convention set up and standardized on your project, what happens is that every time you're sending out a model, or every time you're receiving a model and you have different file name, it's going to break the link that you have currently on your network on that project. So you need to reload the information every single time. And when you're sending out information to other offices or uploading to CD solutions, we need to make sure that we're keeping a track record of a specific file, a specific model that's been uploaded for that project. And we can keep a record on that specific file, how many iterations we have of that model. And we do that through automations on those CD systems. And if we keep changing the file names, we get multiple models that seem to be different types of models. Why it's important to have a geo-coordination system and management process in place is because it's the most problematic issue we have to deal with as consultants on every single project and every single office that we are supporting. And until we have a management process in place where we setting up the project, testing the project, and testing the coordination with other stakeholders on that project, I can guarantee that there's going to be 3D coordination issues on that project unless we have that set up and testing process to begin with. And once we have that set up on the projects, we don't see that 3D coordination issue or those geo-coordination issues throughout the project. And should someone by accident move a model, so we change in the coordinate system inside the one 3D model, we can easily fix that by moving the data and republishing the information back to the model, so the model then picks up the right coordination system again and will be coordinated with the rest of the design team. I can't stress enough how important it is to have this system, have this management system, and have the coordination setup process and testing in the beginning of the project for every single project. CAD standards is really important. So when we are producing drawings from your BIM platform, we're getting drawings that looks like your previous 2D platform output. So if you were using MicroStation or AutoCAD or Vectorworks, and then you are now implementing the 3D capabilities using Revit or using EcoSim or using Vectorworks 3D, we need to make sure that the output of those drawings coming from the 3D model looks professional and identical to the information that you use to print out from your 2D information or even hand drawing. we need to make sure that your annotation symbols and all your line styles, like line patterns and everything, looks professional and looks like a design drawing. The configuration, depending on what software you're using, but all software have a configuration file where the software goes to when it fires up and asking the question, okay, I am this software, where do I go to find this information? Okay, that information is located over here on the network. I will go there, I will pick that up, I will bring that into the project. If the user is working in the software and they need some information for that project, they will click on load or insert or link or reference, and the software should know where to go on the network to find the resources that the user requires for the project. And if we don't do that, what happens is that the user is then going to go into, for example, the Windows Explorer and try to find the information through the Windows Explorer, often copy the information to the C drive or to the desktop, and then started to create this own library of resources they need, because it's too problematic for users to constantly have to re-navigate the network to find the information they need. So they start to produce localized resources, and if we're updating those resources, or if there are errors on the resources that the user creates locally, we're going to introduce those errors into the project. So we need to make sure that the users can rely on adequate information on the network, and that the software knows where to go and find it for the users, to speed up the process and reduce stress and errors on the project. How we can do this is to use the solution we have in place, I have developed specifically for designers who are in between making decisions to move to full BIM level 2 compliancy or ISO 19650 compliancy, but might have projects where 3D coordination between the design team or the client is required, and we want to have a quick turnover of the results that we can get from the implementation. So our solution is called Revit for project delivery. It means that we come into the office and we implement ISO 19650 compliant Revit resources onto the network, and customize the minimum requirements to be able to output professional drawings and adequate information for COBE, for your standard schedules, for fire safety and so on, and risk registers. And we train the team on the project using, with a 2-day workshop, and then we provide support to that team and kind of handover, so the team knows how to use those resources that we have implemented. And that solution paves the way if the practice then wants to take this one step further and go and become BIM level 2 accredited, or do a full BIM level 2 implementation and then become accredited. So it's kind of a fast solution to get the ball rolling with BIM and with Revit, and then jump on the BIM bandwagon later on and invest further in that implementation.